Hello Libra, how are you? Welcome to your April 2016 reading, both love and generals. Before we begin, a couple things. I wanted to do a quick shout out to one of my personal, very best friends, Shooting Stars Tarot. She just started her channel, so be sure to check her out. Personally, she's an amazing person and a really truly sweet spirit. So check her out. And the next thing, I'm going to be using my Tarot of Delphi deck that I used back in February for my generals, just to sort of mix it up a little bit. So here we go for your love reading for April 2016. Here we go. Last one. Libra love reading for April 2016. Okay. Six of Wands, Judgment, King of Swords, King of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, High Priestess, Chariot, Justice, and the Six of Swords. Interesting reading to have. I think just right off the bat, I'm getting two characters here. I'm getting you, Libra, beautiful air sign, and someone else, your partner, potentially someone that you're dating, also potentially an earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, or someone that just maybe has a little bit more practical approach to life, or someone who sort of has that energy or vibe at this point in time. So two characters here. And in the very center, Libra, I'm getting a sense that you are feeling kind of on top of the world. Like things might be going really well for you right now. And, you know, it's kind of like you may have gone through a little bit of a hard time, or maybe even some of you are coming out of a heartbreak or something like that. But ultimately, you truly are feeling victorious over your life, over certain areas. If you're in a relationship, this is a really great place to be. And if you're dating, it's even better because it's a very attractive air, right? It's something that you might, it's that confidence about you that sometimes, you know, it kind of comes and goes, it fluctuates, and right now I think it's really ringing true. You truly are at the top of your game. The King of Swords, very sturdy, very, you know, in his place, okay, him, male or female, very much in his element, in his vibe, in his world, things going well, things, you know, feeling very in control of your circumstances right now. And I love actually the Justice and King of Swords when they come together, especially here when they're in line with one another, because they actually are quite similar in nature. When you look at them, you know, they're both holding swords, even in their right hand. And while the worlds are different and the meanings of the cards are a little bit different, I do think that there's a likeness there. And the King of Swords, again, is that mental sharpness, clarity, being able to articulate the things that you need to say, and feeling like you have something worthwhile to say. And actually, you know, not just feeling like it, but you actually do. And feeling powerful in your own realm. Now, you really might have been coming out of something. With Judgment here as the first card, I think, again, even this card, this is a kind of an active card, right? It's coming home from battle. It's coming out of maybe some turmoil and feeling victorious, feeling successful, and being celebrated, and the people around you celebrating you and celebrating where you are in your life right now. Things becoming clear, feeling renewed, feeling refreshed. feeling like you can breathe. Whenever the air signs come out, the air signs are always surrounded by these beautiful blue skies and these big clouds. And for me, it's like there's no limits, right? There's no pressure on your chest. You can breathe, and the air is fresh and it's sweet, and you are feeling revived right now. It's a really great place to be. And here you have someone, potentially a partner or someone that you're dating, that is in his own state, his or her own state. I say his because it's a king. But they are in their element just as much as you are, which is also a very attractive quality, you toward them, your attraction towards them and their attraction towards you. But these characters are quite independent as well. And two very independent entities that decide to be together are truly an unstoppable force, right? This is my definition of a power couple. Two people who have their own stuff going on, they have their own things, but they decide to coexist. They decide to run parallel with one another and to maintain, this bond together for the greater good and for the benefit of each other's lives. Let me see. The Three of Pentacles here is an interesting card to have in a love reading. I love any of the threes, even the Three of Swords I do like. The three is indicating new life. And like I said before, with the judgment card, that new life, that reawakening, and feeling revived, feeling refreshed, and taking the things that you've used, and even here, it's kind of a similar idea, taking the things that you've done, the lessons that you've learned, the things that you've created. It's like I always call this card the portfolio of your life, right? It's the documentation of everything that you've done, and using that as leverage into something greater, into something better. And what I mean by that in a relationship is, especially if this is something new, while I don't necessarily see it as new because you are represented by kings and queens are usually people that have been in your life for a long time or that you have an established connection with. But if the bond is new, if the commitment is new, if exploring the romantic department is new, I think you have beautiful things in front of you. I think, though, there is an element of conversation here. There is an element of talking to one another. You two are very logical, okay? Air signs of the swords, pentacle signs with the, they both have that air of practicality, the air of logic and methodology and an understanding, the proper steps that you need to take. You think things through. You're both kind of thinkers, right? And you make or come to a mutual decision. Does it make sense for you? Does it make sense for them? What are the next steps? Now, there is something underlying here. The High Priestess is that it's like that darkness within ourselves. It's the secretive. It's not a bad place. It's just that still voice that speaks to us. That voice of our intuition, our mind's eye. It's like the inkling that you get, and it's oftentimes as we live through our life, oftentimes we look back on certain things. And we say to ourselves, when we're looking back, we say, I should have known, right? Okay, and that's maybe what you're experiencing now. I'm not necessarily seeing red flags here, to be honest with you, but there might be something about this person that in the future you might look back and be like, oh, I really should have known, or I really should have paid attention to that feeling because I felt it, I remember feeling it, and now I wish I had paid attention. Okay, it could be about them, it could be about something about their personality. Typically, You know, air and earth, they're not usually the best match. Not saying that it couldn't work by any stretch of the imagination, because there's a lot of compatibility, you know, mapping that can go on. But there could be things about one another, and even that independence that you sense, that independence that you feel, if you aren't truly on board with that, it's something that you might want to just make note of, and just be aware of that. I'm seeing here the Justice, like I pointed out before, and the Justice is, even with the Chariot as well, there is, with the Chariot, there's that air of duality, right? It's sometimes our heart versus our head. Oftentimes in a love reading, it's the heart versus the head. This might be a very, very logical connection. And like I said, it's that power couple where you have benefits for one another. But your heart might be saying, it's not maybe as romantic as you want. It might not be as like smooth sailing as you want it to be. But keep in mind that you don't want to be hanging on to so many ideas about what it should be, as opposed to exploring it and accepting it for what it is. And honestly, to be honest, now that I'm kind of talking a little bit more, I'm feeling like this High Priestess is indicating something good, that you might be hesitant to move forward, and they might be hesitant as well to move forward, because maybe there isn't that overly like chemical connection there. But I think that might be something that you might need to kind of get over. And I'll know more when I pull more cards. It may contradict me, but in the past, you know, think back in the past, have those types of connections worked out for you? Have they been successful for you? And if they have or they haven't, that's something to consider. That's something to think about. You know, maybe this is your chance to date someone different. Maybe this is your chance to view your partner and your future together as something with a lot of potential, right? You are feeling on top of the world right now, and maybe this person can really be that you know, the one that runs next to you and supports you just as much as you support them, and you can maintain your dreams and your goals and your ambitions without having to, you know, when justice appears, it's balancing the scales. The scales are balanced. You two are equals, king and king. You are both running in the same, you're both playing the same game, and you're both just as good. There's no winners, there's no losers. You are truly a partnership, or you could be truly a significant partnership. And as you're thinking about this, and as you're sort of moving on, don't be afraid of, I'm wondering if this relationship even might have like clear skies, right? Maybe there aren't a lot of red flags, okay? Or maybe what you're thinking are red flags, deep down you're like, well, they're not really red flags. They're not really things that I should be, I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? I'm wondering if there's a lot of smooth sailing with this relationship. You might be from very different worlds. You might approach the world differently. You might think about problems in different ways, but that could be actually a beautiful balance for the two of you. It really could, you know, you could counteract one another, the air and the earth, you know, bringing the best of both worlds into each other's world. I hope I'm making sense. I'm kind of talking my way through it, and it's sort of changing a little bit. So let me just shuffle these a couple times, or a few times. Okay. Yes, there is some change in direction. Okay, where you are now, I'm not saying you don't have a lot. I mean, you do. Like I said, you're feeling on top of the world. You're feeling really good. But now you're wondering, is there more? Is there potential for more? And I do feel like you are reliving the past a little bit, like these swords, right? You are kind of like thinking back and saying, well, it's not the same, or it feels different, or there's really maybe not that heat. I'm not really getting a huge amount of romance sparks here in this reading, which just leads me to believe that it could be just a really easy type of relationship. When I say easy, I'm not saying that everything's going to be perfect for the rest of your lives. I'm just saying that connection is easy. You become friends quickly, and you maybe have a lot in common, but you do balance one another very, very well. But I think you might have hesitations with that because it is different, because it's not quite what you were expecting. If this is indicative of your partner, like things just might be going well for you right now, and it's like, well, what? Sometimes when you don't have those, like when everything is smooth sailing, sometimes you're like, well, what's wrong? I'm here to tell you that there's really nothing wrong. You might be thinking in your own head, this is just things you're doing to yourself. These are the thoughts you're thinking to yourself, that you're looking for something and you can't see it. You're looking for problems. You're looking for those red flags. You're looking for the things that maybe why won't this work? Maybe there's someone else in your past that you're thinking about, and they've sort of been, quite present in your life for a while if you've just been dating. And now here's maybe someone new, and it's just kind of working. It's just sort of moving into the next phase without a lot of questions, without a lot of, like, sometimes we actively look for those roadblocks, but I feel like you're not finding any, and you might be trying to create them when they aren't there. Your mind is overly active right now. You're overthinking. Just go with the flow. That's the message with this Eight of Swords sometimes. Just go with the flow. Allow yourself to be swept away by the water, and you will find your way out. You will find your way out of the things that are trapping you, the things that are blocking you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do your general. Put these back in. I mentioned before, I did shuffle these a lot before because I don't want to sit here and shuffle these forever, but your general energies for April 2016, Libra. Okay, Libra, here we go. Actually, just one more. And then feel ready. Okay. Actually, that top one. Okay. Artisan of Coins, Magician, Enchantress of Swords, the Moon, Enchantress of Cups, Three of Cups, the Threads of Fate, the Artisan of Swords, and the Two of Coins. Very interesting. Okay. Well, again, I feel that this is truly you, Enchantress of Swords, and even the Artisan of Swords. I think you really are in your element right now. And I actually feel like your emotions might be running a little bit deeper than normal as well. While your mind is very sharp, while you do have an active mind, and you are putting your mind to good use, and you are sort of, this card is, she's a prophetess, right? She is very, very wise and somehow has the ability to provide truths. So for me, it's very similar to the High Priestess. And she has that inkling within her, and she trusts that feeling. If something feels right, if something feels good, learn to trust that and not to look for the roadblocks, okay? I see like kind of even a triangle here, and I feel like this is the Artisan of Coins. I feel like this is the same person as that King of, or that, yeah, King of Pentacles in the last reading. This is someone who has a lot to offer, someone who isn't afraid to work hard, who isn't afraid to create things, and who isn't afraid to get his hands dirty and get down in the trenches and to be a true leader and to do the work that's necessary to get done. And here you are sort of triangulating this character in your life. And there is an element of the unknown, okay, the moon. The moon is really a blessing. Where there are unknowns, where there are unanswered questions, there are blessings. There are angels there awaiting you. They're beckoning to you, and they really are, I mean, it puts you in a really beautiful place. The Magician here is, you know, maybe, and I don't mean this to be entirely like a second love reading, but with the characters tying in, it seems to be the case almost every month. I feel like I say it's a general, but it always ties back into love. But I think right now you have, I mean, with the Magician, okay, it's probably something new, probably some new passion coming into your life. And if this applies to you, actually now I'm seeing it kind of in a work mode, a work-related thing. I think you are being very utilitarian. You have an idea, you have some spark, some inspiration. It happens to be something you feel quite passionate about. You have the mental capabilities right now to really harness the idea and to make it happen, and to logically set out the steps and the things that need to take place. Not only figure it out, not only the knowledge of how to do it, but the ability to actually do it. Okay, so that's more on a work mode. And especially if you're like starting a new business, or if you're starting a new like hobby or something that's really exciting for you, I think it has an air of that unknown, okay, but truly blessings are on the other side awaiting you. Love or career, there is an element of being social. There is an element of maybe this person, if this is truly your significant other or someone you're dating, or even the things you must do to make things happen in your work, in your career, in your hobby, and the things that you're creating, I think it's going to bring out a lighter side of your life. Okay, you, Libra, you're very sociable. You love to be, okay, well, I'm overgeneralizing, but I mean, you are a beautiful character. You are a beautiful person physically, in terms of your character, in terms of who you are and how you approach life. And I think there's going to be a desire on your end to go out. This new person might even introduce you into new social circles as well. And probably people you don't know, people you've never met, but truly a new opportunity to make new connections, maybe new friends. And that should definitely be embraced. Now, the threads of fate, okay, I love, love, love the idea behind it. The idea of being called the threads of fate. This is actually the Wheel of Fortune in the Rider-Waite deck. But it's the idea that we all have control over our life up to a certain point. We can control, okay, well, we have a burst of inspiration, right? And we have an idea that we want to make something happen. So we feel passionate about it. Like, wow, this could be really exciting. And you start to feel that, you know, entrepreneur type of vibe. There's someone new coming into your life. You start to feel those maybe romantic feelings. You are very in tune with your heart, with the things that you feel. And then you figure out a way to make it happen, and then you go about making it happen. Okay, these are all things that you can control. But at a certain point, you cannot control other people. You cannot control, you know, economic circumstances. You cannot control if someone in their family gets sick and they sort of, you know, these are things that you can't control. And this is when the universe steps in. Okay, I call it universal intervention. It's where fate, our puppeteer, takes the wheel, takes the reins, and leads us through to the next phase. Okay, she gets us from one point to another, one end, one side of the river to the next, and somehow we end up there. I think you are having a little bit of universal intervention, and the key, the piece of advice that I have for you is to just trust. Trust that maybe this is a beautiful person. Trust that maybe whatever it is you're doing, however it is you're working, that doing the things you need to do will get you where you need to go, where you want to be. Okay? Trust that bringing in new people is a good thing. And trust that maybe these are the connections that you need to get you somewhere else. Again, the threes, new life and new directions. You might be feeling a little overwhelmed. Two of Coins, the juggler, okay, juggling. There might be a lot of things. This may apply to you in multiple ways. It may apply to you in life, in family, and in love. And when you have that many things going on, oftentimes you feel like this. And this is also an indication or a hint to let's take a step back for a moment and analyze what it is you're juggling. Analyze what it is that you are, what's worthy of your energy, okay? Is it, tying it back to that last reading, because we had the Eight of Swords that came out at the end there. And that really is maybe the connection, right? Are these thoughts worth your energy? Trying to find red flags, trying to find reasons not to do things. The fear of the unknown, the fear of the darkness, the fear of truth, the fear of honesty with ourselves, the fear of deep running emotions. Sometimes when you feel things so deeply, you get stuck with the feelings and you don't make it through to the next phase. You don't make it to the action phase or toward that air of logic, right? So keep in mind, and again, take it at face value, whatever have you, but look at your life and decide what is worthy of your attention, because some of these balls, you can drop them, you can leave them, and it doesn't even matter. The only person that it hurts is yourself by keeping them. Okay, so that's the hint for that there. But truly, truly trust that the act of doing, and that perhaps this person really could be someone special for you. Okay. Artisan of Cups, Ace of Wands, and Strength. Well, you do have a lot of characters, certainly a lot of people in these readings. Artisan of Cups, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, plus you have, people here, just a lot of people. And the Ace of Wands is, it matches perfectly with the Magician, okay? It's a new passion, which you definitely are feeling something. There's a lot of red here with a lot of times the Enchantress of Wands or the Queen of Wands is sort of seen as like a cold character. But I love this deck because she's wearing these red robes, and red is that indication of passion, and the passion of truth, the passion for knowledge, and for for life itself. And I think you are feeling a lot of passion this month, or you will receive a burst of passion somewhere in some area of your life. Like I said, if this is a business, it could be a new business venture. It could be a job promotion. It's not necessarily an Ace of Cups, but an Ace of Coins, but you do still have that air. You could find a new hobby that you enjoy. Ultimately, I feel like it is a new relationship, just because of the nature of the last reading and how it's sort of tying into this reading with similar characters. And I think this person too might be a little bit more on the luxurious side. Maybe a little bit more, I'm not saying wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, maybe, I mean, he or she could be, but I think there's a class to them, an elegance, a luxurious vibe about them, while they have that getting their hands dirty, getting down in the trenches and doing the work. They do it with purpose. They do it for a reason. And they can really introduce you to new worlds, to new areas of life, things that you have not explored yet. It doesn't necessarily have to be the finest restaurants and 5-star luxury hotels. It could be, even more outdoorsy type of stuff, sort of pulling you out and getting you into a new realm and exploring new things and having new adventures. And strength is always good. Sometimes when you have emotions running this deep, as this is my favorite card in the deck, by the way, if I never told you that. This is, sometimes you can get lost in these emotions. You can get lost in, this is emotional spinning, I call it. It's like where you feel something so strongly that it can sometimes sort of suck you in a little bit. I think you have the power now to really get out of that, especially with the victory card from that last reading. Victory and strength. So however it is you're feeling, however it is you're thinking about things, the strength to persevere and to do things that need to get done, but also the strength to have faith. These are cards of faith, all three of these. Cards that faith that the universe will guide us in the right direction, that fate has the reins, and it's she will help us get to that next point, because at some point we don't control everything. But what you can control, you are harnessing, you are controlling it, you are making things happen, you are taking the reins and getting yourself as far as you possibly can before she needs to take the wheel. So a very interesting reading for you, Libra. I hope it proves somewhat insightful for you. I wish you nothing but the best for you this month, and I will see you next month. Thank you.